When did you stop trusting your parents? My sister was 8 when I first noticed how much she hated eye contact. Not just with me, but teachers, parents, everyone. But instead of helping her through it, I started making fun of her for it. "Oh, are you scared we're all secretly Medusa?" I'd say, while pointing and laughing. But then things took a turn. Whenever I tried to be sarcastic, she would start crying and say, "Stop, stop, I don't understand what's going on." Or one time when we were at the mall, she had a full breakdown because she could feel a rock in her shoe. It was then that I realized she most likely had autism. But instead of telling our parents, I tried to get her diagnosed myself. You see, I was 18 at the time, and I knew telling our parents meant them trying to beat the autism out of her. Yes, I know they are crazy. Luckily, the school counselor was extremely helpful, and after a few months of meeting in secret, she was finally diagnosed with autism. It was actually a relief, because at least now I knew how to better take care of her. So in secret, I'd teach her how to stim subtly by encircling her thumb around her finger under her sleeve so our parents wouldn't see. And I even bought her noise-canceling headphones that she could wear whenever she felt overstimulated. Looking back, I don't know why I thought that this was a bulletproof long-term plan. I just thought I knew more than I actually did. So when Lacey turned 12, I told her we were going to watch her favorite movie in front of our parents. Immediately, she started flapping both of her hands super hard like a bird and screamed at an abnormally high pitch for someone excited. A wave of heat washed over because I could practically feel the confusion radiating from my parents. So I began to mimic her exact verbal and physical reaction, pretending it was a quirky inside joke. But over the next few weeks, I wasn't home as much because I took up more shifts to pay for Lacey's therapy. So my parents were actually interacting with her for the first time. Well, girls with autism are typically better at masking, so I thought everything would be fine, but it wasn't. One day, Lacey called me while I was at work, something she had never done before. When I picked up, she was crying harder than ever, and in between the sobs, she was begging me to come home. That's when I heard a yelling in the background, and she hung up the phone. My heart stopped. The drive home was 30 minutes, but I made it in 20. I immediately ran up the stairs looking for Lacey, but as I did, I heard a faint banging. It was coming from the closet underneath the stairs. My parents were in their room watching TV, so I don't think they knew I was home. I quietly opened the door, and Lacey ran out, jumping into my arms. I immediately shushed her, and she just nodded like she understood. So there I was, with a 12-year-old girl with low-functioning autism, not knowing what the F to do. But I knew one thing, my parents were worse than I thought, so I quietly carried her out to my car. Turns out, my parents had asked my sister what was going on, and she burst out with the truth, that she had been secretly diagnosed with autism. My dad's hand immediately hit her face. "She's going to poison Jack." My name, my mom yelled, hence why they put her in the closet. Apparently they were waiting for me to come home to see what they should do with her. I felt myself sniffle and choke to hold back tears when she said that, because I knew I had to stay strong. I told her that she would always be safe with me, and no one would ever hurt her again. She held my hand tighter, and I knew she believed me, but I still didn't know what to do, so I just scrolled through my contact list to see what family member would take us in. I ended up deciding on our Aunt Leah, because she herself was a little quirky too. I didn't waste any time, and told her exactly what was going on with Lacey. She seemed really understanding. I should have known that no one is that friendly to someone they hadn't seen in a while. She told me she'd be happy to take in Lacey, but I couldn't stay, because she didn't want men in her house. I told her I respected her wishes, and I would be back to visit tomorrow. The last image I saw was Lacey running in excited to hang out with Aunt Leah's daughter, and I never saw her again. Not really anyway, because after what Leah did, she was never the same. The next day, she called me from her school, crying even harder than after the incident with our parents. Turns out, Aunt Leah had let her husband do much worse to Lacey. I wish I never drove her there. The rest of the full story is on my channel and linked below.